Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello viewers, welcome back to this course on ESD for the food security. So in the last class we were discussing about the food insecurity and the causes of the shortage of the food, then wastage, and what are the three pillars of food security, all these things that we are discussing. So to move ahead with this topic, now we'll be discussing about other things like poor infrastructure. So actually we are discussing about the reasons of the poverty and the food insecurity. So that we have already discussed so many factors. Now another factor is the poor infrastructure. So poor infrastructure, how it causes the hunger, how is the hunger or the poverty because of factors like poor transport, shortage of the food, wastage of the food. So poor infrastructure actually causes the hunger by making it difficult, sometimes impossible to transport. Maybe that in one region the food is sufficiently available, but due to the poor transport system, lack of communication, etc., these are not being transported, these are not being able to taken over to another place to for the people's consumptions. So that is one thing, and food. So that is one of the major thing is that poor infrastructure. Here comes the transport. The transport facility also comes under that. The second thing is called that. Sometimes the roads are so poor that it's not possible to reach from one region to another region, and even if these are being transported, so many foods are being wasted because of the all kinds of barriers or all kinds of time consuming factors, etc. So that also deteriorates the quality of the food. Then again, third is in the infrastructure that comes our irrigation system. That is if there is no continuous or permanent source of water supply in the nearby field, nearby paddy field. So that is another kind of setback, because if the farmers depends on the unreliable source of water like the rainfall or the unreliable sources of water, instead of having some regular irrigation facilities, so that also affects the affects the not only harvesting, but that makes the whole system very expensive, because procuring the water from other sources and purchasing it with high electricity charges, etc., it becomes very expensive for the farmers to maintain it. Therefore water facility, irrigation facility, so in that situation it is a major infrastructure that has to be taken either from the underground wells and aquifers, etc., or from the directly river. So that should be a permanent arrangement of the irrigation facilities by connecting it to either to the deep down wells, aquifers, or the rivers. So but again, both these things are also having the environmental consequences also. So these are the important for infrastructure like the transport of the foods, as we have earlier seen that in the flow chart, food processing flow chart, that is from the during this process, how after from this food processing, then these are being delivered to the markets or transport, then the transport facilities, both roads and the other kinds of the road facility as well as the rail facilities, then irrigation system. These are the very important factors of the infrastructure of food products. Then another thing is that you can say irrigation infrastructure sometimes unaffordable for most of the farmers because of the lack of water and sanitation infrastructure, etc. Whatever water they procure, they buy, they purchase from other sources, it becomes expensive for them. And the lack of infrastructure, like sometimes what happens in the village areas, rural areas, mostly the women and the children and the men, they are actually fetching the water from the by pulling from the wells and taking from the long distance you can say ponds or the canals or the rivers. That consumes a lot of time. that consumes a lot of time, wastage of time of women and girls and etc. So they cannot utilize those time in the other productive activities. So, and that also causes some of children, small children to especially the girls to stay away from the school and not get educated. So that is also the wastage of time and the resources and the energy. So then again, job instability, that is for the rural people, only for people having the agricultural skill or limited skill, and the labor class people, they are having very limited scope or job opportunity. So because of the hunger rates rise when the national and the local economy is in a slump. During this COVID-19 also, as we have seen so many people, the small time vendors, small time shopkeepers, small time laborers or the farmers, etc. They lose their job. They lose their job, and they couldn't find the proper work also. So therefore, it also brought down the economy into a very slump phase. So that is also another cause at the neighbor, because of the some national or the local reasons, purpose, or the climatic change or the natural disaster or any kind of environmental issues. If they don't get some they don't get the regular jobs, that also affects. Especially, for example, in the regular, otherwise in rainy season also, it is very difficult for them to get the proper job. That also causes the lack of foods. So similarly, sometimes what happens is single parent families are also there. Single parent families, so they don't get enough time to engage them in different kinds of the jobs, because simultaneously they have to take care of their home, children. So that is the question of not only the work-life imbalance, but also there is the opportunity, then the shortage of opportunity and the scope to work more, or to get the more job opportunities. So similarly, and in the affluent countries and the developed countries like United States and other things, there actually hunger takes place because of the lack of jobs, because primarily they import the food grains, food materials from the other countries, and in their countries, developed countries, their hunger or poverty takes place because the most of the people, when they lack the jobs. So because of lack the jobs, or maybe that whatever jobs they are doing, it pay too little. So because of that, only in countries like they are developed countries, United States and other areas, the actually hunger takes place, because they don't do their agriculture themselves, but rather they procure it through import. So their job instability also takes place. So the job instability is also another reason of food scarcity. Again, one more factor is the war and conflict. War and conflict, that is between countries, between countries, and as well as the intra-country and inter-country. Maybe because of these two countries, that like suppose in two adjacent to nearby neighborhood countries, or within the country also, because of this economic crisis, political instability, etc., or wide-scale poverty, hunger, that leads to the frustration, resentment with the governments, maybe governments government schemes, different schemes. So their war and conflict, or conflict-like situation, chaos, instability, all these things takes place. Nowadays, we can say terrorism is also another factor. Okay, terrorism, not only the political riots, but also terrorism is another factor. So this also, actually, due to this war and conflict, so many homes are being destroyed. Natural calamities also, being the victim of natural calamities or war and disasters, etc. People are being displaced. So displacement is another factor. Then physical infrastructure also need to be reconstructed in this kind of situation that has been destroyed and damaged due to this war, conflict, terrorism, or any kind of natural disaster. So then again, so another is that the prices also, food prices also fluctuates from time to time because of the unstable market, because market is being influenced by not only the economic factors, but the social factors, then the environmental factors, okay, and some of the industrial factors. And so the market prices fluctuates from time to time, and how to take control of these fluctuations, that has to be taken care of by our economic policy, and by our central bank and government policies. So which creates actually primarily hardships, additional hardship for the citizens. So again, so another thing is that affordability for the pesticides. So people from the developed countries, they can afford to the latest technology, latest manure, fertilizer, pesticides, etc. Whereas the people from the low income countries or the developing countries, so they have the limited source, the limited access to this kind of highly technology, high technology, or the high quality pesticide to protect, to preserve, to their food grains, etc. So again, moreover, so disease closely related to the due to the poverty and the food insecurity, the people, rural people, or the people, disadvantaged people, they become the victim of different kinds of diseases because of the because of the poor nutrition and poverty and food insecurity. That is kind of, you can say that is because of the scarcity of the clean water, drinking water, safe drinking water, or poor sanitation, or pollution, or inadequate shelter, etc. So they fall the victim of not only the malnutrition, malnourishment, but also other kind of the immunity deficiency and the other kinds of diseases like the cholera, TB, malaria, etc., etc. Nowadays, in presently, not only the COVID, but also earlier to that, this HIV, AIDS, all these are the, from time to time, they also become this victim of this kind of diseases because of the poor immunity system and the poor food, that means food security and the poverty. So therefore, that is a therefore in the society, actually we can witness vast inequalities. So vast inequalities, and even especially in the hospitals also, we can find out the poor people are the they are the actual crowd, they are the major stakeholders in the hospitals, because of their their poor quality of health, because of the food insecurity, or because of the poor quality of the not unsafe drinking water, health, environmental facilities. So for that kind of things, actually the poor people are very often they get infected, they will get affected with these kind of small diseases, regular diseases, and they cannot and they cannot afford, neither they can afford to expensive medicine. They can take care of their own health also, and they can spend the money for the medical thing, but also they are not being able to do the regular work to earn their livelihood. So the rural people, the disadvantaged people, the deprived people are actually the victim of the health complications from time to time. So another thing is that yes, technology available there, technology can control the temperament, temperature, water, nutrition, everything, etc. But again, at the same time, there can be the economic and environmental cost related to it. So developed countries can afford to import the food, import the latest technology, or import the latest fertilizer, pesticides, etc. But what happened to the throughout the year? But developing countries farmers, developing countries people, they cannot afford to purchase, afford to procure it all kinds of throughout the year. So, okay. So again, there are also the discrimination also takes place, discrimination like without economy, that means so definitely the poverty, then food insecurity, actually it relates to the economic growth of the country. So with the falling GDP, that is gross domestic product, etc. So not only it affects our agriculture, our business, our industry also, but it also affects the human life. So discrimination has woven into the social fabric gradually. We can say why this in African countries, so people are so many people are deprived in the disadvantaged second, because of the not only because of the poor food security, but water and climatic change, and poor economy, poor education, etc. So they become the disadvantaged group. So here so automatically this discrimination comes up in the embeds in the social fabric. So discrimination is there. Why women farmers in developing countries they do not get the do not get the equal wages like other male farmers. Why they are not so much of productivity in comparison to the male counterparts, and why women in all sectors of the economy, why they earn less than the men, and why the girls are being pulled out from the school. These are some of the reasons reasons of the social discrimination. That is why equality, that means equality, not only gender equality but equal opportunity in access to all resources, that is also one of the primary goal of the sustainable development in goals of the UNESCO. So that is also equality, equal access, equal affordability, equal facility, equal that means gender equality. All kinds of equality is very much important, even for the food security also. So nutritional qualities are to be ensured. Then another form of, we have already discussed how the malnutrition also takes place as a hidden hunger because of the poor quality of the food, not only low quantity but also poor quality of the food. Then again, most vulnerable category of the people are the young children, infants and the young children, and lactating mothers, like the the young mothers, lactating mothers. Similarly, loss of farmland also, it creates a kind of vicious cycle of the exhaustion of the soil, low fertility, decline of the agricultural productivity in the world because of the poor in the cyclic way, because of the lack of fertilizer, lack of quality manures and etc. So automatic gradually the farmlands it gets less fertile, or this fertility lost gradually in the process. So and then desertification also takes place because of the deforestation, because of the inappropriate agricultural process, drought, famine, etc. So desertification also takes place from time to time. So these are also other factors of poverty and the food insecurity. So now how to reduce this poverty? There are some suggested solutions are there. So India, to make the food security a core policy priority, the few policy changes are also essential to improve the India's hunger situation. So these are some of the these are the suggestions of some of the researchers and the policy makers. So how can we eradicate, how can we remove the hunger and ensure the food security by following certain principles and solutions. First thing is that, yes, job creation, creating the different kinds of jobs, low skilled, semi skilled, high skilled jobs. And India being the agriculture based economy, so definitely more agriculture is almost across the world, agriculture is the primary major source of jobs. So besides agriculture, there are other sectors like IT sector, health sector, education sector, and skill based sectors are there. So creating jobs, many more and more jobs, how to create many jobs for employment for different categories of the people, not for the only highly technical or the professional, but also from low category, from the grassroots level workers to the highly professional things. So job creation, again, it's the biggest challenge for India, job creation. So that is why now these are different kinds of schemes, Rozgar, Jawahar Rozgar Yojanas, and the startups things, and small time entrepreneurship programs and SMEs, these are being promoted, and how to create more and more number of jobs in the market. So again, raising the minimum wage, and the wage revision also very much important, the revision of the wage, because with the inflation, with the price rise also, definitely the wages, the daily labor wages should also be hiked. So increased the earned income tax credit for the childless worker, now we are also having this DS, daily allowances, gradually rising with the price rise also, market price rise, supported the pay equality by there should not be any difference and discrimination between male and female workers, but pay equity, provide the paid leave. Again, even if somebody is getting the medical health leave or any kind of sabbatical leave, etc., there should be the paid leave also should be available, and establish the work schedule, that work like in order for maintaining the work-life balance, for maintaining a harmonious development, the working hours, how it should be distributed. So that is why both that means mostly even in the government sector also these are being introduced, but also most of the private or MNCs, private organizations, they have given that kind of work flexibility, more health facilities, and the recreation facilities, education facilities, these they are being provided from time to time to their employees, just to get them, make them more productive, more committed, more happy, and more sustainable, in the sense that sustainable and in their work style, sustainable in the productivity, etc. So invest in the affordable high quality childcare and early education. So education at every level is very important. Along with that, the affordable high quality childcare is there, childcare, nursery, crèche, and affordable. So therefore, education and health, we need to afford, need to spend more, invest more. Expand the medical aid, medical facilities, medical health cards, making the compulsory health card for every child, every citizen, every individual under different age groups also, that is health card. Then vaccines, introducing the vaccines, and then ICDS programs in the rural areas, in the Anganwadis, that is not only distributing the nutritious food or nutrition supplements, but also health checkup, regular health checkup. So expand this medical aid and medical aid and the facilities. Then again, yes, the reform in the criminal justice system, and to enact the policy that support the successful re-entry. And we must adopt a policy of do no harm to the society, to the people, etc. That means how to establish a peaceful and just society. Again, so here ESD comes in here, how to make our make a very peaceful and just society. That means society will be built up in a peaceful and harmonious and sustainable way when all the stakeholders, all the individual contributors, individual stakeholder, economic system, social fabric, all these things put together and go well in a very cohesive manner. So social protection in the form of caste transfer. Now these villagers and rural people, they are having the bank accounts, zero balance bank accounts. So this is all again another initiative to eliminate hunger, because that is a kind of social protection from the government side. And activities such as that upgradation of the rural infrastructure, training to the farmers, then the post harvest practices to minimize the losses. And in every till now it's our Krishi program in Akashvani is very popular. Not only make the farmers aware of the climatic change also, but also give them the knowledge about the basic things of how to basic things regarding the plants, harvesting, manure and fertilizer, all kinds of things, knowledge and information are being given to them, and updating them from time to time. So this is a kind of supply chain or value chain. You can say it's a kind of value chain to scale up the productivity, to to organize the small farmers into different cooperatives, so that they can sell out their products. Now this in retail sector, that is big immense retail sector, this big MNCs, multinational companies, like Reliance, Fresh and other companies, they are venturing into this, that they are also taking the things from the local level farmers, giving them their due prices and selling it with the preservation facilities. They are selling it in the urban areas. So that is also they are also coordinating with the big business houses. They are also making the liaisoning and hiring these farmers and giving them so that the food wastage will be minimized, because the farmers, when they sell out their complete food products and the grains, etc., to the big MNCs, etc., that means they also get the complete money out of that. So there is no risk of wastage of foods, and again at the same time they can invest this money in the next season crops. And businessmen, they not only procure the quality food from there, but they also through their mechanism and technology, etc., they preserve it and sell it out throughout the year. So this mechanism also, it's a value chain that has to be sustained and supported. So one nation, one ration card across the country. One nation, one ration card across the country, that is to make it uniform. That is universalization of these policies and all kinds of things, irrespective of the geographical differences and discrimination, etc. So how can we make an uniform policy through one nation, one ration card, one, like in our country, that is the Aadhaar card, and the Aadhaar card has become the key passport to all kinds of the facilities, government facilities and the public facilities. So that is one nation, one ration card across the country. That is also, that would be a great move towards the universalization or uniform, making our policies uniform for our own region, that means for our own country. Thereafter comes our, ICDS schemes and MDM schemes are also working. So sustainable agriculture practices like such as the crop rotation, mixed cropping and the pulses, biofertilizers, limiting use of the pesticides, fertilizers, integrated pest management. All these things must be encouraged, promoted and educated, and so the proper training and outreach programs, should be organized from time to time to update, to educate our farmers, to update our stakeholders who are directly or indirectly related to farming, agriculture, food storage, all kinds of, from time to time, for the proper management of the food products, so that the minimum wastage will take place, and so we can go for a sustainable and secured food system, food security, sustainable food security system. Now I am completing it right now here. Then next class we will continue it. Next onwards. Thank you.